Welcome. I am really excited about having a fellow alum. I graduated from Wayne State University as a pharmacist, and I am so delighted that I've got a Dr. Joel Khan, who also graduated from Wayne State University School of Medicine. He went on a little further than I did. He's a graduate summa cum laude of the University of Michigan School of Medicine. He lectures widely on the cardiac benefits of nutrition, mind body practices, and heart attack prevention. He writes blogs, he writes articles for Reader's Magazine. He is also a best selling author of The Whole Heart Solution, and he also has written a book on dead execs don't get bonuses. In fact, it's subtitled The Ultimate Guide to Surviving Your Career with a Healthy Heart. Wow, what a title. I'm so glad that you're still talking to me, Dr. Khan.
I'm glad you're talking and I'm talking. That's step one of waking up in the morning. If that works, it might be a good day.
That's right. I heard the line that if you wake up in the morning and you reach out your arms and don't hit wood, that's a good day. Anyway, moving right along, I am really impressed with your credentials, and I've had the privilege and joy of introducing you to different audiences. And you travel all over the country, and you are an all around type of doctor that people admire because you don't practice medicine, but you actually do medicine. And you are a cardiologist and have gotten involved with memory health, which is really appropriate for my theme in life in the sense that I do the show Bright Side of Aging, where I say age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. So, speaking of the mind, I'm just curious as to what your thoughts are in terms of the conventional medical approach to dealing with heart, and now you got involved with the mind. How did that happen?
Sure. So I have practiced cardiology in Michigan for 32 years, a long time. Going to keep doing it for a lot more years. And used to be running around the hospital putting out fires. You have a heart attack. You have chest pain. You blacked out. You're having a stroke. But about 10 years ago, I completely changed to trying to go upstream and make sure you never have a heart attack, never have chest pain, never have stroke, never have a blackout or a cardiac arrest. And keep your memory, all about prevention. And the science has exploded. So my clinic at 13 and Telegraph in Bingham Farms, where we actually take care of people all over the world. I just finished emailing a patient in Israel and Mexico and United Kingdom, but most of it's southeastern Michigan because we will do telehealth if needed, but we like when people come in and say hi. It's all about figuring out why you're in good health and keeping it, or figuring out why you're not feeling good and something's going wrong and correcting it. It might be using food, and March is nutrition month, so we're going to be talking about how to use nutrition to upgrade your brain. It might be fitness. I'm actually walking a treadmill as I talk to you. My only desk in my office is a treadmill desk. So I walk about 8 hours a day when I see patients, 8 miles a day. Actually, it might be better sleep. It might be losing weight. It might be you're missing vitamins. But we put you back together. And we do it for the brain, too, because when my patients are starting to lose their memory, they miss their appointments. I better keep them sharp as a tack. It's a great business goal. And obviously, it's one of the most important goals that people have in their life, the fear of starting to develop some degree of memory loss or dementia. So we do it all.
Hmm. Well, I am impressed with the fact, like you say, you're going against stream, and today that is one of the big problems. I have people calling in many times. my doctor spent about 4 minutes with me. I mean, they spent over an hour in the office, but 4 minutes was doctor time. That's not your practice, isn't that right? How do you handle?
That probably is the most common question. Am I actually going to see Dr. Khan or an assistant? And I do have some incredible staff, but people get an hour with me. And it's, 1 hour to learn your breakfast, your lunch, your pets, your sleep, your trauma, your allergies, what vitamins you take. And we really, got it down pat. Usually my first question when a patient comes back the second time, I ask them something about how's their dog, Jake, or how's their cat, Sally, and like their eyes go up. And how do you remember? Well, I'm supposed to pay attention. It's part of your life. And keeping their memory with nutrition is a big part of what we talk about a lot.
Tell me, we keep hearing eat healthy, nutrition. What are your guidelines in terms of nutrition?
Yes, and that is something we've learned. We learned beginning at least 70 years ago. We could go back to Noah in the book of Genesis, and he said you should eat mainly plants. We could go to the book of Daniel in the Bible, and he ate, for the Daniel fast, water and pulses. Pulses are beans, peas, and lentils, legumes. But in the modern era, we've known since the 50s and 60s, heart disease, you're better off eating a bowl of oatmeal, a giant salad, and a bean soup than you are eating a cheeseburger, French fries, and a milkshake. I mean, we know that. It's been shown. That's the American Heart Association and what I teach and what I eat. The brain is new, though. The fact that it's obvious, but what you eat and the brain have a direct connection. So there's a version of the healthiest of diets. Everybody's heard of the Mediterranean diet. Eat like you're, on a porch in Naples, Italy, with a little pasta and a big thing of broccoli and a little glass of red wine. And don't use butter, use olive oil. You're not going to do red meat, maybe a little fish, maybe no fish on the Mediterranean diet. But there's a diet called the MIND diet, M-I-N-D. Anybody can look that up. And it's just a twist on the Mediterranean diet. What it emphasizes is plants and omega-3. You need omega-3 fatty acids for the brain, and humans can't make them. So the easiest way to get is to take a supplement with omega-3 and other brain-friendly supplements called carotenoids, a fancy word. But you do want to eat salmon instead of a steak. Or I don't eat salmon or sardines. Those both can do the job. So I eat ground flaxseed and chia seeds. But the MIND diet does it. But in my practice, I go beyond that. And we actually supplement the brain with a mixture of vitamin E, omega-3 fatty acids, and something a little more difficult to understand called carotenoids. All from, the carotenoids are from plants, and the omega-3 can come from plants. In this case, it happens to come from high-quality fish. We supplement the brain to support healthy memory, and that's with a local Detroit product, it turns out. I always pick the best product for my patients. Mm-hmm. But when I can actually pick a product who has its headquarters in a local Detroit suburb, even more amazing, if there's science. And I support the brain with science, so I'm absolutely fascinated that Detroit has some great data for the public to help keep memory during our month of nutrition in March and actually all year round.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have had the privilege of actually interviewing Ed Joel from memoryhealth.com, and you're 100% right. He is a strong advocate of the ingredients that you have, and you mentioned the various ingredients which are in that product, and it's a capsule type form, and I'm really excited about having someone local right in the United States of America, and it's really available.
I agree. The businessman you mentioned, Edward Shehab, who I also know, lost a mother with Alzheimer's. I had a grandfather, my father's father, he used to actually run booze for Al Capone, talk about the kind of energy he had as a young man in Detroit at the time when they ran across the frozen Detroit River. And then he developed a very large business. He spent the last 7 or 8 years of his life passing away from progressive Alzheimer's, and he was my grandparent. I mean, I watched that man. I spent time in watching him pass away. It's always been the back of my mind when I can find and give back in brain health. And I got really strict criteria with my patients. I want science. So when I found out that this combination vitamin right out of Birmingham, Michigan, called Memory Health, 3 little capsules a day, had, the best science is called randomized clinical trials. A group gets a placebo, a group gets some treatment or vitamin or drug, and nobody knows till the study's cracked. So even as recently as just a couple weeks ago, a new study came out with this a combination of omega-3, vitamin E, and a nutrition called carotenoids that you always eat your carrot, eat your sweet potatoes, and eat your orange squash. But these 3 little tablets a day just make it easy, and that's what they used in the studies. But you seem to get better memory function and better cognitive brain function, and that's a pretty good gift to humanity to find something so easy to do. Do it through food. Go read about the MIND diet. Get some exercise. Don't be overweight. Don't abuse alcohol. But everybody wants a shortcut, and it turns out this is a pretty good shortcut.
Yeah, well, I don't mind sharing. I take it myself, and it may sound made up, but it's not, because, frankly, like you mentioned, 3 capsules a day, in many cases, after 1 or 2 months, you somehow have a better feeling about yourself and life. And if people are interested in following it up, I've got all kinds of contacts, and coming as an endorsement from you speaks very highly. And I just wondered if you had any thoughts about people's age bracket as to when they should consider really considering your mind nutrition.
Now, as a child, when you're 18, when you're 25, when you're 30, I mean, most of the diseases that plague us when we're 60, 70, 80 plus, they begin early, and it takes decades. Heart disease, decades. High blood pressure and stroke risk, decades. Chronic kidney failure, decades. Diabetes, decades. And brain health is the same. So, the best time to say, I won't eat junk food because I don't want a junk brain. I won't skip the gym because I don't want a lazy brain. I won't smoke cigarettes because I don't want a ruined brain, is to start as early as possible. But it's never too late. In the studies that were done using our local Detroit brain support vitamin, these were people that already had the disease. It probably had been progressive. In fact, I'm working on another project to bring to Detroit the earliest detection brain issue imaging. It's going to use MRI, and people might know 10 years before Alzheimer's that their brain is at risk, which would be a real breakthrough, so they can make a more intelligent decision. I will start memory health. I will start the mind diet. I will stop picking up donuts and whipped cream top coffee on the way to the office. I will get a treadmill desk or a standing desk or a gym membership. Start early. Ben Franklin said something wise, just like Ike Engelbaum. An ounce of prevention.
Yes.
An ounce of prevention is worth 10 pounds of cure, because there really is not a cure for Alzheimer's. So prevention is an exciting area in general, but it's a very exciting area in brain disease.
And actually, you practice what you preach, because you've been involved in the whole concept of planet-based foods. And if you can take a capsule that supplements a wise-type diet, you will be wise.
I agree. There's a lot of potholes you can fall into. There's lots of vitamins, lots of powders, lots of gimmicks. That's why my criteria about my patients won't hear about something unless there's actual published science. And it turns out that this particular product we keep mentioning has a relationship with a research institute in Waterford, Ireland. And they do excellent research, Dr. John Nolan and others. And they publish it. And any doctor can read it and evaluate it, a dietitian, nutritionist. So it's there for all of us to enjoy. But there's a word called synergy, mac and cheese, peanut butter and jelly. Some things go together. And it turns out omega-3 fatty acids, think fish oil, and carotenoids, think carrots. But if you get them in a capsule combined with vitamin E, it's like a Beethoven symphony for the brain. Just good stuff.
Yeah. Well, if anyone is interested, I always like to give out my toll-free number, which is 1-888-489-8980. That's 888-489-8980. And we can either have it sent to you, or you can pick it up at select health food locations, and including in your office. Is that possible?
Yeah, we do carry that product in my office so that patients can walk out and choose to buy it online in the future or come back. We like when our patients come back and visit us to say how they're doing and buy some refills. But it's the kind of supplement you probably want to take long term. You're going to probably have your brain long term, so feed it good food, exercise your brain. Think of it like a pet. Take good care of it, and love on it, and it'll love you back in your older age. Because I just see the stress of my patients when they're dealing with a spouse, a parent, that has Alzheimer's, and the struggle in the medical world that there just isn't much treatment at that point.
And what are your thoughts as far as the genetics of it? Is it if you had someone in your family that suffered from Alzheimer's, is there a stronger possibility of memory loss in your particular case?
Unfortunately, you're right on. And one of the advanced blood tests I do, but it's just a tube of blood. It's called APO. That's spelled APO, capital E's. So APOE is a gene. And if you happen to get from both your parents a type called APOE4. So it's not a standard blood test. It is available by Quest, by LabCorp, by Mayo Clinic Labs. It's out there. And you find out that you inherited from both your parents APOE4 versus the better ones, APOE2 and APOE3. You really have a brain risk. And if you've got that strong family history, you might want to get that blood test if you're prepared for the possibility it might be scary news. And you really want to get your diet, your exercise, your body weight, your alcohol intake, where they should be. And I would throw Memory Health 3 capsules a day in for sure. I've also had some people, when they've recovered from the current pandemic virus, a little foggy-headed, they've added in Memory Health. There's no research on it, but I told them, it's worth a try, and they have reported good things. So that's exciting too. But that is not scientific analysis, just an experience.
Well, I'd love to talk to you for hours, but we've run out of time. And before we part company, if someone wants to talk to you directly, why don't you give out your office number twice, okay?
Sure. It's 248, because we're local, 248-731-7412. 248-731-7412.
You might want to consider getting into the broadcast business. Just a suggestion, okay?
Well, I have a weekly podcast on iTunes called Heart Talk VIP, so it's actually every week, Friday at 1 o'clock it comes out. So I think you advised me that a few years back, and I actually did it. I listened to you.
Well, by golly, and that sounds like a great opportunity. We'll stay in touch. And it's been a delight to have you on the air, and keep on practicing. No, better yet, doing medicine. God bless.
You too.